So today we're going to be looking at a game called Marvel Rivals. I believe this is a free-to-play game. It's an online multiplayer game. Looks like a kind of Overwatch kind of game where you know every character has like their own powers and things like that. So I'm going to look through some of the reviews, see what people are saying about it. There's actually not that many reviews here. There's more reviews on the PC. There's only a couple of reviews on the PlayStation 5. So I'm going to stick to the PC reviews first, since there's more of them. On the PC, on Metacritic, so far, it's only got 5 critic reviews, but it has a score of 72. And from these reviews, it has 2 positive and okay, it says 2 positive and 2 mixed, even though there's 5 reviews. Let's check out what's going on there. So it says here there's actually a 10 out of 10. So this is interesting. So the summary says, Marvel's Rivals has hooked me back into the hero shooter genre with its huge roster of characters, exciting gameplay, and excellent sense of style. So this is clearly a big fan of Marvel. You know, this game is, they love online multiplayer games, they love these hero shooter games, they probably love Marvel. So I think that's a clear indication that if you're a fan of all of these things, then this game might just be a masterpiece for you. But let's have a look at some of the other reviews. We've got a 9 out of 10 that says, in its current state, Marvel Rivals is an absolute blast, no matter what role you play. Yes, it's hard to deny the similarities to Overwatch, but enough is going on here that it helps to stand out on its own. I feel like the comparison to Overwatch isn't really a criticism, because you look at games like Rainbow Six Siege, I guess you've got things like Valorant. You know, there's many of these kind of games where these days you're choosing like a different hero, a different class. So, you know, if it's just like Overwatch, you know, it's just a genre by this point. You know, it's not really copying one game or the other. But yeah, I think if you're already a fan of those kind of games, and considering this is a free game, it's pretty easy to just pick it up and see what you think. We've got a 7 out of 10 here, which reads, Marvel Rivals is not a perfect game. It does not bring novelty and innovation to the playing field. It's just a clever use of branding, and it's fun to play as your favourite characters. So it seems like this review is basically saying if it wasn't for Marvel, you know, being plastered across it, and having all the Marvel characters, maybe this game would be a little average, you know, maybe not so great. But yeah, you can't deny, if you're playing as Marvel characters, it is pretty fun. Like, you know, it's not often you get to play a really good Marvel game across many characters. Like maybe you'll get like Spider-Man or the Incredible Hulk or something like that, but it's rare that you get to play as all these other heroes. They don't really get their own game, or they don't really get to have like a playable character in the other games. So I guess this is a nice experiment so that you can try different characters. I've not actually looked at the roster just yet, so I don't know who's in it. I hope the X-Men are in it. I know that, you know, there's a lot of complications with the X-Men because Sony own the rights and things like that. So I don't know if they have the X-Men, but they're like my favourite characters. I'd love to play as them, but I'll need to have a look at the roster and see what it's all about. Since it's a free game, I don't know if you can only choose from a set amount of characters each day, you know, if it's like a rotation, or if you just have to unlock credits, you know, or use real money to buy other characters. I'm not quite sure yet, so that's something I'll need to look into. But it says it's got a big roster of characters, so it seems like there's plenty to choose from, lots of different powers and gameplay styles. We've got a 5 out of 10 here, which says Marvel Rivals wants to reinvent the hero shooter genre with its complex characters and special synergies, but it's so preoccupied with trying to be like Overwatch that it forgets to play to its own strengths. Its oversized roster also needs more balancing and more differentiation from Blizzard's stable of heroes. So yeah, I think that's one of the big issues you always get with these kind of games. If you've got a big roster of characters, there's going to be some balancing issues. That's something that they're going to have to fix with updates. And you know, since it's a free game, I'm sure people will have more patience with it. You know, they don't have to be like, oh, I just bought this game, I spent all this money and it's not quite polished enough. Since it's free, you know, you can wait a little bit, jump in every now and again, every time there's a new update, and see what it's all about. And the fifth review here is actually, it doesn't have a score, it's by IGN, so I guess it's like an ongoing review. Maybe they've not quite finalised it, so there's no score here, but it reads, "So far then, I'm having enough fun with Marvel Rivals to be interested in more. It's also the exact Overwatch imitator that I thought it would be. It's glossy and feels good to play, without ever displaying the sort of ambition that something like Valve's Deadlock is bringing to the hero shooter come MOBA party in 2024. It does though have the money-spinning Marvel license and free-to-play model behind it to hopefully avoid a Concord-like disaster. I look forward to playing more and digging deeper into some online matches now that servers are open to the public, and we'll now be able to interrogate the full extent of both its microtransactions and the developing meta." So yeah, making this a free-to-play game is very smart, because like we saw with Concord, people just don't want to spend all that money on these kind of games anymore. You know, even Overwatch 2, I believe, was free, and I think Valorant is also free. So it just seems like, what else is there? There's Apex Legends, like they're all free. Like, it's just part of the culture now. Like, these kind of games are just free games. You don't pay for these games anymore because you pay for the characters, right? That's where the money comes from. So they want to get you in the door, they want to get you playing, they want to get you hooked, and then that's when you start paying to get more characters and more outfits and accessories and, you know, all these kind of things that free-to-play games throw at you. And it's definitely something I wouldn't have bought, but since it is free, I'll definitely give it a shot. Also, I believe this is a third-person game, which I actually really like, because I like first-person games. When I played Overwatch, it's still good, but there's just something about third-person that I enjoy a lot more. So I think this is a game that I could really get into, and since it's free, it's worth checking out. So yeah, that was all of the reviews for the PC. There's only a couple of reviews for the PS5, so it doesn't have an aggregate score, but it's there's an 8 out of 10 review and a 7.6. So I'll quickly read through the PS5 reviews so far, just to give a little bit of extra detail. So this is an 8 out of 10. It says, "For now, Marvel Rivals is a fine foray into the realm of hero shooters. It's tough to imagine making a splash in such saturated waters, but NetEase has managed to do it with its diverse hero roster, its monetization model, and its usage of destructible worlds. This will be a fun game to watch develop over time, and I'm excited to see where it is at this time next year. But for what it is now, this is a stellar debut." So yeah, they're impressed so far so good, and again, can improve with updates. And the final review is a 7.6. It says, "Marvel Rivals is an Overwatch copycat, but it manages to do its job well and manages to have enough of its own identity to deserve a chance. However, it still has a lot of room for improvement and lacks a little more originality in some of its proposals." So yeah, I think it's reviewing pretty well. Like I said, the score on the PC is only a 72, so it's kind of, you know, it's good. You know, it's better than good, right? Because a 7 out of 10, it's actually not too bad. Considering it's a free game, something that they're going to develop over time, you can imagine it's only going to get better, right? As the months and the years go by, and with players giving feedback and DLC and all these kind of things. So yeah, I think I'll give it a try. I think it looks decent. I don't really play that many multiplayer games, but like I said, since it's free, I think it's worth jumping in and seeing what it's all about. So what do you guys think of Marvel Rivals? Do you think you'll play it because it's like Overwatch? Is the fact that it's a Marvel game enticing you to jump in and play as your favourite heroes? Let us know down in the comments below. If you liked today's video, please drop a like, it really helps out the channel. And if you're new here, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.